All right, game number 3 of the NBA Finals now from Indianapolis, Indiana, as the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder are tied now in the NBA Finals, 1-1. Again, series now shifts to Indiana for a huge one. Very excited for this one. Obviously, game 2 did not go our way with the Pacers, but hey, you know, it is what it is. You're not going to win every single one, and you know what? Okay, this is what I'll say. If you told me the Pacers were going back to Indiana, tied 1-1, I would have taken that 100%, okay? We did think they were going to win both games, 1 and number 2. Well, originally I just thought game 1, and then after I watched game 1, I kind of thought they were going to win game 2 as well. It's okay. It's okay. They split. We're going now back to Indiana for game number 3. And before we get into the prediction, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NBA Finals predictions here on the channel. At the very least, we have 3 more of these, so make sure to join us every single day or every single NBA Finals game for that. Also here on the channel, daily MLB best bets, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern every single day here on the channel. And this week on Greedo Plays MMA, our UFC, our PFL predictions in the main event. Jason Jackson takes on Thad Jean in the Clash of the Caribbean. And with the UFC, our UFC Atlanta predictions this week, Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley in the main event. Both those videos are linked in the description down below. Go make sure to check those out. Okay, so Pacers Thunder, game number 3. I am taking the Indiana Pacers to win the basketball game. Okay? One game doesn't change my mind on this. It really doesn't. Indiana did not play a good game too. But ultimately, I think that entire game to me comes down to a couple things. The first of which is the second quarter. You cannot let the Thunder go on multiple 9-0 runs in the same quarter. You just can't do it. What really changed the game, let's be honest, was when Tyrese Haliburton came out in the first quarter, which I know, again, Tyrese can't play the entire basketball game, but I'm so serious, and this is why the guy is a superstar, and the whole debate on whether or not he is a superstar is ridiculous, okay? The game changes when Hallie's not on the court. The game was tied, or the Pacers had the lead by 1 point when Haliburton left the court in the first quarter. When he came back in the second, they were down by 13. I know only scored 17 points, and 12 of those came in the fourth quarter. That is fair, but the entire attention around that, or that entire Oklahoma City defense, changes when Hallie's not on the court. When Hallie's on the court, everything is directed at him. They are trying to find ways to shut down Haliburton and block off passing lanes that Haliburton's going to find. I love TJ McConnell, but my goodness, it is night and day the difference of what happens when Haliburton's in the court and when TJ McConnell's in the court. Obviously, McConnell's gonna hit his 3-pointer every once in a while. That team's gonna dare him to shoot. He's going to drive, finish at the rim sometimes. He's gonna hit his mid-range shot where he hangs in the air for forever and takes. But my goodness, it is a huge contrast to when Haliburton's on the court. Also, okay, Haliburton needs to be better, all right? He wasn't great, but obviously, again, he changes how the game is played. He needs to be more aggressive. 3 for 8 from the 3-point line, only took 13 shots. Haliburton needs to be taking 20 shots a game. I'm so serious. I understand he wants to be a pass-first guy. He wants to move the rock. He wants to pile up those assists, and that's all great. But yes, Tyrese needs to shoot the ball more. When Tyrese is aggressive, and we said this over the course of the Knicks series and the Cavaliers series, when Haliburton is aggressive, he's attacking, he is at his best, because it just opens up more pathways as well for Indiana. If Haliburton's attacking, then it sets up the corner, it sets up Nesmith, it sets up Nembhard. So, and I understand, again, the sole, focus of the OKC defense is Haliburton. That's what does make it really tough on him, but he just has to be more aggressive. He has to, right? That fourth quarter, I get it. The game was kind of over at that point. They were down by like 15, 20-ish in the fourth quarter for most of it, but that was Haliburton's best quarter. He came on in that fourth, and he was hitting his float game. He was attacking the rim. He was taking more 3-pointers. That's just what he needs to do going forward, and I would expect him to do that, especially because the series heads home to Indiana. Again, there hasn't been a home NBA Finals game in the state of Indiana since the year 2000. That's a big deal. This crowd is going to make a big difference in this series. And I've always thought, I thought the Pacers, I thought they were going to leave Indiana at the beginning of the series. I thought they were going to leave Indiana up 3-1. And I still think that's going to happen. I think Pacers in 6 is probably still in the books, and I think it's still in the cards. I think it's a fairly easy prediction. Again, I know, a lot can happen. I still think Indiana is going to win these next 2 games. I think OKC is going to get game number 5 over in Oklahoma. And I think game 6 is ultimately won by the Pacers, and that's how they're going to win the series and win the NBA Finals. Additionally, again, we're talking about the problems that Indiana had. Okay, they just need to shoot better. Let's just be honest. They need to have a better shooting game. Especially early in that game, man, there were so many shots where Siakam would have a shot wide open, he just couldn't hit it. Or at the end of the first quarter where Siakam just took forever to release the basketball, and ultimately his shot didn't get off because he was just kind of standing there like, what am I going to do with it? Looking to pass, like 2 seconds left, and eventually he sunk the shot, but it was after time had expired. The Pacers need to be better shooting-wise. Aaron Nesmith is still great. Obviously, hit some big three-pointers, I know, to like keep the lead at 15 for a while. But they need Miles Turner to shoot better. They need Andrew Nembhard to shoot better. Obi Toppin needs to shoot like he did in game number 1. Those are just all things that need to happen for the Pacers. I get it. They only shot, they did still shoot 35% from the field, which still is not bad. But for Indiana, the way that they play and the way that they have played in the postseason, that they need to shoot around 40-ish% just to beat OKC. Because again, I will, come on here and tell you I have all the confidence in the world with the Pacers, which is fair. I do. I'm never going to discredit how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are. This is a great basketball team, one of the best basketball teams I've watched throughout the course of an NBA regular season. I understand how good they are. Again, I'm still backing my Pacers pick because I know how good this team is. But OKC is a great unit, right? And I didn't like how the Pacers approached guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last game. I really didn't. I thought they could have been better against him. I think the way that they approached SGA in game 1 was perfect. They said, all right, you know what? We're just going to guard SGA one-on-one with Andrew Nembhard. We're going to let SGA drive to the basket. We are going to give him a lot of his looks. And if he hits a layup on us or he hits his mid-range shot, well, so be it. That's what he's going to do. He's the most valuable player in the league. Rick Carlisle said it himself. You can almost always just draw up SGA for 34 points because that's what he does. Sure. But at the same time, you can't give SGA all those points while also at the same time vacating the corners, because that's what Indiana did in game number 2. SGA is driving to the hoop, and Siakam or whoever's in the corner would start playing help defense, but then go halfway. They'd kind of, Siakam would take a step towards Shai when he's driving to the hoop, but then all of a sudden, that leaves Chet Holmgren. And I know, again, Holmgren had been struggling mightily in the postseason, but he had some big shots in game number 2. Right? J-Dub wasn't great shooting-wise, but you leave Caruso from beyond the arc so many times. He goes 4 for 4 shooting in game number 2. And don't get me started on Alex Caruso, man. Alex Caruso could poke a guy right in the eye, and he'd still be, complaining about the foul. He would immediately say, we gotta challenge this. Like, again, Caruso could punch the shit out of somebody, and he'd still be trying to get a foul. He'd still be trying to get a challenge. Anyways, Indiana just needs to be better. I have said it. Again, SGA is going to score. Just leave Nembhard on an island with him. SGA scores 40 points, so be it. But SGA, for as good as he is, he specifically is not going to kill you. He's going to hit big shots. He's going to. He's going to score points. It's all about limiting his teammates, though, because we know how good SGA is. But if SGA, and like yesterday, SGA is scoring 34, J-Dub scoring 19, Chet scoring 15, and Caruso scoring 20 off the bench. And sure, Aaron Wiggins, I know some of his shots were in garbage time, but Wiggins scores 18 points too. You can't win a game like that. But in game 1, where SGA, sure, he's scoring 36 points, but Chet's scoring 5, and the rest of the team can't really get anything going, that's how you beat OKC. It's just all up to SGA's teammates. Because he's that good, it's just the point of, how are you going to stop the other guys? And what Indiana can't do in game number 3, they can't leave these Thunder players wide open anymore. You can't do it. If SGA is going to attack the rim and SGA is going to finish, so be it. He's not going to score in every possession. He had a great shooting night in game number 2, 34 points. You can't ask for a better game at the most valuable player, but at the same time, you can't give his teammates everything as well. I have to say it. I think the officiating was horrible in game number 2. I thought it was god-awful. OKC got to the free throw line 33 times. The Pacers did 26 times. This is not me being a homer for the Indiana Pacers right now. I think it's a legitimate thing. I don't think they're allowed to play physical defense at all. At least they weren't in game 2. I thought game 1 was officiated the best way it could have been. I thought that was a great officiated game. All those calls, and I am still an SGA truther. I will always be. But the calls that people complain about SGA getting, he did not get in game number 1. I always reference that shot that he took where he leaned into Aaron Nesmith when Nesmith was just had his hands down while SGA tries to lean into him and draw the foul late in the 4th quarter. Referees didn't give SGA that call in game 1. They gave him every call in game number 2. Okay. Again, I like SGA, but my goodness, the Pacers were not allowed within, a 5-mile radius of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in game number 2. You could not touch that guy without it being a foul. I mean, there's a point, I know it's late in the game, it didn't really matter at that point, but the Pacers were down like 15 points in the fourth quarter, and they had their backups in, right? Johnny Furphy, the Australians in the game, right? And they got Benedict Mathurin guarding SGA. SGA is still in the game, up 15 points with like 3 minutes to go. SGA drives to the hoop, he finishes with the left. Not even a tough finish. It's a difficult finish at the rim, but he doesn't really get touched. Mathurin has his hands back, he doesn't really contest the shot. They still called a foul on Mathurin. It's a call that's really not going to get talked about because it's at the end of the game. There's only 3 minutes left. And I don't think the Pacers really argued it much because the game was over at that point. But I'm just sitting there, I'm like, how is that a foul on Mathurin? They showed the replay. Mathurin doesn't even touch SGA. And I don't know, man. The Pacers were not allowed to hand check Shai at all in game number 2 without it being a foul, right? I mean, Neesmith got called a lot. Nembhard would get called on stuff. Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace and even Lou Dort, they hand-check the Pacers every single time down the court. I mean, sure, again, we talk about how great OKC is defensively, and they are, but a lot of that is because, again, they're allowed to play physical defense. Indiana was not able, and the thing is, in game 1, the Pacers were able to match their physicality. Indiana was able to play physical as well. In game 2, they weren't, okay? I know you can look at the third quarter, the Pacers were in the bonus in 2 minutes. Those were real fouls. The Pacers were going up to the hoop, okay? There's nothing you can do about that. But I'm just saying, OKC got the benefit of the doubt with a lot of calls in game number 2. If games are officiated like that, I just don't know how the Pacers can win. So let's hope, again, game 3 is officiated like game 1 was. And I hope it is. I don't know. There's nothing we can do about that. But ultimately, guys, the Pacers are back at home here for game number 3. Okay? We know how well the Pacers have been playing at home. And sure, Haliburton has struggled some at home throughout the postseason. But the rest of the team has come on in Indiana. And again, this is the first NBA Finals game played in Indianapolis, Indiana since 2000. There is a lot around this one. The fans are, I'm sure, going to be berserk for this game. The cheapest ticket to get into the Gainbridge Fieldhouse is $650 for this one. So I'd imagine the crowd is going to play a big part of this basketball game. And I just feel like the Pacers are going to rise to the occasion. They've risen to the occasion in every single game. They've risen to the occasion in every single game that they played in this postseason. No stage and no lights have been too bright for them just yet. And I think after a bad game number 2, they are going to respond. But ultimately, again, I said this at the beginning of the video, I'm going to say it again. I look at that game 2 and I say, okay, first quarter sucked because when Haliburton went off the court, the Thunder immediately went on a big run and nothing was really going the Pacers' way at the very end of the first quarter. But ultimately, the second quarter is the only quarter that was not competitive. OKC went on their big run, and that's when they really ballooned the lead. Indiana came back on a 10-0 run at one point, but then OKC took a timeout, and Shai got them right back to about a 20-point lead eventually. But you look at the final, score totals in each individual quarter. All right, quarter number 1, OKC's up 26-20. All right, they outscored the Pacers 33-21 in the second quarter, and that's ultimately what changed the game. Third and fourth quarters, Indiana outscores the Thunder in the second half. OKC outscores them 34-33 in the third quarter. Indiana outscores them 33-30. And I get it again. We had James Johnson minutes late in the game and in the fourth quarter. I completely understand that. But again, ultimately, the game was competitive down the stretch. It was just not competitive in the second quarter, and that's what changed things. So there's just a couple things that the Pacers need to fix up on. I think, again, they need to not play as much help defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I understand you're trying to do everything you can to stop that guy, but he's going to score regardless. He's going to get his 34 points. Again, Rick Carlisle said it his damn self in the press conference after the game. That's fine. Just don't allow Chet to get going. Don't allow J-Dub to get going. And honestly, the toughest guy on them all, the way he played in the last game, don't let Alex Caruso get going. Because if you let Caruso get going, then yeah, everything's just going to fall downhill. As well as Tyrese Haliburton just needs to be more aggressive. And I think, again, Haliburton said it himself. And, of course, Haliburton is going to be the talk of the media after every game because the media loves hating on Tyrese Haliburton, especially Stephen A. Smith, who I think is just garbage at sports analysis, okay? He is just mad that the New York Knicks have been eliminated by Tyrese Haliburton in 2 consecutive seasons, and that guy will constantly go after Haliburton for every little thing that he does. He'll be more aggressive in game number 3. I can almost guarantee it, right? I can almost guarantee that. Haliburton was much more aggressive in the home games against New York for the most part, except for, game 3. He was way more aggressive in game number 4. He was aggressive in game 6 for the most part as well. I'd expect Haliburton to, put the team on his back, but make it his mission to get guys open. Because, again, Indiana, I've said it before, Indiana benefits off of Tyrese Haliburton getting going. Because if Haliburton can score, and Haliburton, again, the way that even if Haliburton's having a bad game, right, he's still a presence. And that's why I think he needs to play 40 minutes a night. I understand Indiana's whole thing is, all right, we're going to play bench guys. So, guys like Tyrese can be fresh when they're on the court. You're just going to need your star to dig a little bit deep in this game. I'm so serious. Just play him extended minutes because his presence makes it so difficult on the OKC defense. Because, again, it opens up Nesmith. It opens up Turner. And, again, Miles just needs to be better. Siakam needs to be a lot better as well. Pascal went 3 for 11 from the field in game number 2. And I've said it before in the playoffs, and I'm going to say it one more time as we close out the video here. I can break down games as much as I want in the playoffs with Indiana. Ultimately, it comes down to their shooting, right? I can look at matchups and I can say, oh, how are they going to guard SGA? How are they going to deal with J-Dub, with Lou Dort, who was kind of taking out the equation in game number 2, which was great. But how are they going to approach Chet? Like, it ultimately doesn't really matter that much. It ultimately comes down for the Pacers, how many shots are they going to hit, and at what rate are they going to hit the three-point shot? And I guess another big factor is, can they not fall behind in the first quarter again? And the first half? Can they just play better in the first half this time around? Because the comeback in game 1 was great, right? That's an all-time moment. Haliburton's shot in game 1's an all-time moment. And they've come back from big deficits before against Milwaukee, against the Knicks, obviously, in game 1, against the Cavaliers in game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals as well. That's great. But you can't rely on that. That can't be something that, oh, okay, we're down big. Well, we're just going to come back again. That's great, but that cannot be something that you just rely on. It just can't. It's something where if you have to go to it, you have to. But that's not how they're going to win every single game. So they need to just be better in the first half. And I look, again, how they played in New York, compared to how they played in Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were significantly better in the first half in Indiana compared to New York. They had to come back in both games 1 and 2 in New York. And game 5 did not go well for them in New York. They just fell behind early and stayed behind early in New York. Games 3, 4, and 6, they were much better in the first half, and they got ahead early. I'd expect them to get ahead early against OKC here in game number 3. And sign me up for plus money. Vegas will never learn. We get Indiana at home +5, +175. Keep your points. We're taking the money line. Indiana +175 here at home in Indianapolis, and they will beat the Thunder and go up 2-1 here in the NBA Finals. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our game number 3 predictions here for the NBA Finals. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with the pick. We'll be back in a couple days for our game 4 prediction, of course, back in Indiana. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.